I've worked night security jobs all over the Midwest, but nothing compares to what happened during my short shift at a roadside camping area outside Rapid City, South Dakota. I thought isolated forest jobs were boring, uneventful, peaceful. I was wrong. The campsite was simple: a gravel lot, a few picnic tables, some hiking trails, and a single maintenance shed with a radio and a small heater. My job was to watch for trespassers, help lost hikers, and keep an eye out for wildlife. Nothing intense, nothing paranormal. That changed my second week on the job. It was around 1:15 a.m. I was making my usual rounds with a flashlight when I saw a man standing near the tree line. He was tall and thin, wearing a hoodie that looked too small for his long arms. His back was to me, and he wasn't moving. I called out, "Sir, the trail is closed after dark." He didn't respond. I walked closer and noticed something off. His shoes were on the wrong feet, completely reversed. "Sir, I need you to step back into the campsite." Still nothing. I tapped his shoulder. He turned around, and instantly my stomach dropped. His face was wrong. Not deformed, wrong. His eyes were glassy, unfocused, and too wide. His mouth hung slightly open, like he forgot how to close it. When he finally spoke, his voice sounded like a broken speaker, disjointed, layered, and crackling. "Cock on. Help." It didn't sound like English at first, more like a digital distortion glitching in and out. I stepped back, gripping my flashlight. "What's wrong? Are you hurt?" His head tilted in a jerky, unnatural motion. Too fast, too sudden, like a puppet string had been yanked. "Not me. Not Mimian. Not real." I froze. "What isn't real?" He took a step forward, dragging one foot like it was numb or broken. His mouth twitched open wider than before, and when he spoke again, the sound that came out wasn't human. It was several voices layered together. Men, women, children, all speaking the same words. "He wears me." Chills shot down my spine. I reached for my radio to call for backup, but the man lunged forward with a sudden burst of speed so violent that his bones looked like they bent under his weight. I stumbled back, falling onto the gravel. He hovered over me, his face inches away. And then his expression changed, almost as if a mask had slipped. His features softened for a split second. His eyes flickered with something human, fear, desperation, and in that moment he whispered with a single, perfectly normal man's voice, "Please, please help me. He's making me do this." Then everything snapped back. His jaw cracked sideways. His neck jerked. His eyes rolled white. And he sprinted into the woods with a speed that didn't match human physiology. I radioed for backup immediately, and 2 rangers arrived within 20 minutes. They searched the woods, but found nothing. No footprints, no broken branches, no signs of anyone. The next night, he came back. I was sitting in the shed, trying to shake the unease from the night before, when I heard knocking on the window. 3 slow taps. I didn't want to look. When I finally worked up the courage, the same man was standing outside, inches from the glass. His face was pressed so hard against the window that his nose bent sideways. His eyes didn't blink. His voice came out in a whispery glitch. "He found it." I stumbled backward, knocking over my chair. The window fogged from his breath, except the temperature was near freezing. He shouldn't have been warm enough to fog anything. He lifted one long hand and traced a circle on the glass with a shaking finger. Then he pressed his mouth against the window and whispered, "Let..." I grabbed the heater, shoved it against the door, and barricaded myself inside. I radioed the rangers again, but the signal kept cutting out with bursts of static that sounded eerily like breathing. For the next 10 minutes, the man circled the shed, dragging his fingers along the walls, tapping in uneven patterns. Sometimes he giggled softly. Sometimes he cried. Sometimes he repeated the same broken sentence, "Not Mimian, not real." Then everything went silent. I opened the shed door slowly. He was gone. I was working late at a 24-hour gas station off Interstate 80 in Nebraska when everything started. I'm used to weird customers, truckers crashing from energy drinks, teenagers filming TikTok pranks, drifters asking for cigarettes. But what happened that night wasn't human weird. It was something darker. Around 2 a.m., I was restocking the fridge when the doorbell chimed. I looked up and saw a girl, maybe 16, wearing a hoodie that was soaked from the rain. She didn't buy anything, didn't browse, just walked straight up to the counter and whispered, "Do not let him in." Before I could ask what she meant, she ran out the back exit, the one marked employees only. I went after her, but she was gone, vanished into the darkness behind the station. Confused, I went back inside. That's when a notification popped up on the screen of the lottery machine. It wasn't supposed to show videos, but somehow it did. A video began playing automatically. My stomach immediately tightened. It was the same girl, but in a deepfake. She was standing in the middle of MY gas station. Same uniform behind her, same layout. But in the video, the place looked abandoned. The lights flickered. Every shelf was empty. She kept looking behind her, terrified. Then a male voice whispered, "You can't hide in here." A tall shadow stepped in a frame, grabbing her by the hood. She screamed, kicking and clawing at the floor tiles. Then the screen went black. Another message popped up, uploading part 2. I unplugged the machine so fast the whole counter shook. The lights flickered once, twice, then stabilized. I called the sheriff's department, but they said there had been no reports of missing teens that matched her description. They told me to stay vigilant and hung up. I spent the next few hours on edge, jumping at every sound. But at exactly 4:13 a.m., the doorbell chimed again. The girl was back. This time her hoodie wasn't wet. It looked burned, like someone held a lighter to the fabric. Her hair was matted, and her eyes were bloodshot. "Don't let him in," she whispered again. "Who?" I asked. She didn't answer. She just backed away, staring at the glass door like something outside terrified her. Then she sprinted out the back again. I followed immediately, but she wasn't there. Only the sound of wind hitting the dumpsters. That's when the ringing started. Not the doorbell, the store phone. I picked it up. A man's voice whispered, "She's not real." I made her. I froze. "He'll knock soon," the voice continued. "And when he does, let him in." I hung up, shaking. The phone rang again. I unplugged it. Around 4:40 a.m., the knock came. 3 slow taps. I didn't look through the window. I didn't answer. Then I heard the girl's voice. "Please let me in. He's here. Please." It sounded exactly like the deepfake video. I backed away from the door. Something about her tone was wrong. Hollow, warped, like someone mixed her voice with static. Then the knocking changed. It became rhythmic, mechanical, like a looping audio file. I turned off all lights and hid behind the counter until sunrise. When a morning shift guy arrived at 6 a.m., the front glass door was clean except for a handprint right in the center. A perfect handprint that wasn't from a human, too long, too thin. I quit that same day. A week later, the sheriff called me back. He said they reviewed exterior camera footage from the night of the incident. Here's the part that messed me up. There was never any girl. Not entering, not leaving, not standing at the door. But the cameras did catch something. At 4:13 a.m., the exact moment she reappeared inside the station, the footage glitched like someone cut frames out. And during that glitch, a tall, shadowy figure was visible behind the door. The sheriff told me the tech team tried enhancing the footage. They wished they hadn't. When they slowed the frames down, the shadow's face flickered. And for a fraction of a second, it used MY face. I never thought a single video could ruin my life, but that was before Halloween last year. I was living in Portland, Oregon, renting a small basement apartment while finishing an IT certification. I kept to myself, didn't party, didn't cause trouble. But someone apparently had their eyes on me. someone who knew my face too well. It started on October 27th. I woke up to 15 missed calls from my mom, 3 texts from my uncle, and a voicemail from my sister crying. I thought something happened to my grandmother or some relative. Instead, every message was the same. Please tell me you're alive. Confused, I called my mom back. She answered on the second ring, out of breath like she had been running. Oh, thank God. I thought, Mom, what happened? There's a video. Your cousin sent it. It's on Facebook. It looks like you're... She started crying again. I checked Facebook and found it instantly. It was in a random true crime group with thousands of members. The caption said, "Breaking, 26-year-old Portland man kidnapped and murdered. Suspect still at large." And the thumbnail was me. The video began with grainy footage of something that looked like a cheap motel hallway. Then a man, with my face, stumbled into frame, bruised, tied up. Another man walked behind him, holding a knife. My deep-faked face looked terrified. It looked real, too real.